Hey guys, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, episode number 30, 32, 33, 32. And we are going to review Friday Night SmackDown from this past Friday, July the 4th. Happy 4th of July, everybody. And let's break it right down. As always, I am Mike with 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by my main man, Mr. Sean O'Neill. And let's break it down, Sean. SmackDown opened up with the King of the Ring winner, Mr. Cody Rhodes. My man came down to the ring, and he got right into it with Randy Orton, who was his opponent for the King of the Ring, who came out, and him and Randy had a bit of a conversation about how Cody left it all out there, and Cody didn't hesitate, when it came right down to it, and he told him, like, look, dude, you gotta beat John Cena. And this was obviously interrupted by a returning Drew McIntyre, who came out and talked a bunch of crap against both of them, kind of leading towards a bit more towards Orton. It seemed about how Orton, kind of hesitated and whatnot, and really is going to be leading to, well, it is leading to a match between Orton and McIntyre for this upcoming Saturday night's main event this weekend. But overall, what did you make of the segment and kind of the direction we're going with kind of the main characters of SmackDown, if you will?
I mean, I'm glad Drew is finally back and hopefully leading into this feud with Cody that we had talked about for a while. I mean, he did tell Cody he wanted him to beat Cena so he could be the one to take the title away from him. Um, I think that the Drew and Randy is going to continue our paths towards Randy's heel turn, for when he turns on Cody to get us that feud as well. So, I mean, we've talked about this for weeks now that they're working on building a universe around all of this. And Cody doesn't even have the title yet, and they're already setting up feuds for him. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, a feud against both Drew and Randy are both going to be fantastic. Little disappointed that, I mean, we're getting right into this match between Orton and Drew, though. Like, I feel like WWE kind of booked themselves into a corner here by having so many shows so close together. It's my same with my thoughts for the Evolution show. We're a week out and we have what, three matches? Like, and and I don't even know how many matches we actually have for Saturday Night Main Event, but at this point, it almost feels like they're just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I wonder, right, like I wonder I wonder, like, because we've been talking for a while about how we thought that, maybe it's going to be Cody that ends up being the one that turns heel. But it really seems like they're just not going to do that. Like, as much as I think people are wanting that and expecting that to happen, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think, to your point, I think it's going to be Randy. I think Randy's going to turn on Cody, and I think that's going to be kind of your big program going into the fall. I mean, WrestleMania is still so far away that very likely it's going to probably be Cody and CM Punk at that point. But I mean, I think over the course of the fall leading up to the Royal Rumble, I think it's going to be Cody and Randy. Like, it seems to be the direction that they're going. I kind of wouldn't hate Randy being like Randy and Cody, kind of exchanging the title. I don't want Cody to be in the Royal Rumble again, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Cody and Randy like just trading the title a couple of times. Like, I think that that would actually be like a good program, like, overall between the two of them.
The problem with that is I don't know that there's enough time. I mean, yeah, it's like 6 months, but I mean, how many actual events are there in that time frame for them to flip flop titles?
Well, after SummerSlam, you've got the Paris show, and you've got the Australia show, and then you've got Survivor Series. Then you've got some
Rumble.
show some show in December, the Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and then WrestleMania
That gives us 6 shows before Mania.
after SummerSlam.
Do we think that it's worth having Cody win the title back and drop it in that short of a time frame?
Well, that's the assumption that Cody's going to be champion going into WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Um,
know, and where does Roman fit into all of this? And where does I mean, Cena will be gone, obviously, but where does Rock the Dwayne Johnson fit into all of this? So, and I'm sure Cody will have a feud with Drew McIntyre that he will obviously win, right? Like I don't think Drew McIntyre is going to beat Cody. I mean, I'm sure it'll be good, but yeah, I
I
don't
will
think
say,
they're putting that
um,
belt on him.
yeah, I mean, we have talked about, and I said that I wouldn't mind seeing a double turn at SummerSlam, um, during that main event, but the return of Drew McIntyre and the story they're telling with Orton, if anything, that pretty much cements the fact that they need babyface Cody still around.
Yeah, and as much as the internet wants to shit all over Cody, Cody's still very over with the live crowds, and he's still
100%.
over with most of the fans. It's really a small minority of internet trolls that are like, the same ones that hated on him when he was in AEW that
Yep.
are, that are crapping all over him. Those people that listen to Dave Meltzer and believe everything that he says. Like, those are the people that are crapping all over Cody and trying to crap all over the product. So yeah, I don't pay much attention to that.
Everyone's favorite denizens of the wrestling Twitter sphere.
Exactly. So we finally got the tag team of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair as they went up against the Secret Hermits of Alba Fire and Piper Niven versus BFAB and Michin to be the number one contenders for the women's Fatal Four Way that's going to occur for the women's tag belts at Evolution. And yeah, so this was the first match on the show, and Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair won. Alexa Bliss hits the Twisted Bliss on Alba Fire to secure the win, and they qualified for that Fatal Four Way at Evolution. Solid match. I mean, Alexa and Charlotte obviously are light years better than everybody else who was in this match. So I mean, it was like, frankly, two stars against kind of four jobbers. That's really kind of the way like the whole match sort of broke down and felt. At least, I'll be completely honest. I watched SmackDown I watched it the next day, obviously, because it was the 4th of July. And I kind of fast forwarded through this match a little bit because like you knew what was going to happen right away. And like the spots that I did watch kind of looked a little sloppy. So it is what it is.
I mean, the story of the match going in was, can Alexa and Charlotte coexist? And I mean, I've been I've been calling it for weeks now that I thought that they were going to end up as a tag team. I said it back when they first started talking to each other that I felt like this was probably the direction it was going to go. And I'm glad to see that in this case I was right because it keeps Charlotte out of that main event title picture and it actually gives us something to do with Alexa.
Mhm.
Like you said, though, it was basically the two stars trying to coexist against four basically jobbers. Why Piper Niven still has a job is beyond me. Like, especially compared, and normally I would crap on like BFAB, but BFAB is actually looking better. If anything, Piper Niven is looking worse. And she's dragging down Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. Like, get her out of that group and just pair up Chelsea Green and Alba Fire in my book. But as far as Charlotte and Alexa winning, I did like that they actually celebrated afterwards and gave a hug. I thought that was
A
kind of
little
fun.
pat on the head. That was
Yep.
kind of funny.
Um, that oh yeah, the pat on the head that counted as a tag. Um,
Yeah, I like that.
I think I think the smart play here though. I mean, we won't know until tomorrow night who the Raw representative is, and I imagine Tuesday we'll get the NXT representative. I think the smart play for Evolution, because I think that's one of the three matches we know of, is the tag match. Um, I think the smart play is Roxanne and Raquel to retain. And I think that you get a one-on-one tag match between Charlotte and Alexa and Roxanne Raquel at SummerSlam.
Mm. Or just a rematch, right? Like, I absolutely see. I mean, I can see these two winning the tag titles, right? Like, they're not going to be. Neither one of them is going to get pinned, and obviously, it's eventually going to lead to a program between the two of them. But I think for right now, they definitely are going to like. If you asked me right now who is going to be the next women's tag team champions, it's going to be these two. If
Yep.
it's not an Evolution, it's at SummerSlam. To your point, like these two are absolutely going to win those belts at some point.
I think Roxanne steals the win for their team because I think it's too soon for that implosion to happen. But I think that because it's not Alexa and Charlotte that take the pin, I think that that's what earns them the rematch at SummerSlam, and that's where they win the titles. Plus, it's the bigger show.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then next, I'll let you talk about this match because I've given my thoughts quite a few times to our audience on the Wyatt Six. But we did have the Wyatt Six of Uncle Howdy, Dexter Loomis, Eric Rowan, and Joe Gacy defeat a hodgepodge team of Berto, Chris Sabin, Johnny Gargano, and Montez Ford via pinfall. I'll let you go ahead and talk about the match and kind of everything that happened, where we're unfortunately going with the SmackDown Tag Team division.
So if they can get away from just like we've talked about the stupid supernatural side of things, all the members of the Wyatt Six can go in the ring pretty well. Even Rowan, for the big goofy guy that he is, looked pretty good at the end of that match. I think the idea behind this match was kind of cool, where you had a representative from each team in the tag division going up against their common enemy, and similar to the Charlotte and Alexa thing, whether or not they could coexist. But this one went in the opposite direction, where at the end, Sabin went to go tag in Gargano, and he kind of abandoned the team and Sabin to get Iron Claw slammed by Rowan. Um, and it was nice to actually see all four members of the Wyatt Six being utilized. I mean, when's the last time we saw Rowan and Bo do anything? Or by Bo, I mean Howdy, but do anything actually in the ring as far as a match goes.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
my big problem out of this though is I'm starting to get more and more worried that they're going to put the tag titles on the Wyatt Six, and I think that is the worst decision they could make because that group does not need gold, and then it forces that entire division to revolve even more so around the Wyatts. And I think that they need to not be in a title hunt and they need to not be in the tag division.
Yeah, I agree with all of those things that you said, but it's going to happen.
Oh no,
They're
I
going
know.
they're going to win the tag team titles like 1,000% probably at SummerSlam. And like it's a disaster. Like it's so bad. Like there are so many teams that are more deserving of those tag team belts than they are, frankly. I mean, Fraxium, if anything, right? Or now this new team of Andrade and Ray Phoenix as well, which we're going to talk about in a little bit because they had the match of the night, like the only match that I actually watched from bell to bell. Um, but it's just I've said enough about the Wyatt Six on this podcast. I don't really want to get into it again. I'm over it. It's 2025, almost 2026, and the spooky gimmick thing is just not interesting to me anymore. So
Um, to your point though about them winning the titles, I think the only positive that could be spun out of it is that I think one of the two tag teams from later on this in the night will be the ones to take the belts off of the Wyatts. And I think that's about the only positive to get out of that.
yeah. So then we had our quick building for the show that's coming up this next weekend here for Women's Evolution. We had our champion, our champion. Let me say that again. Our champion, who you know, doesn't seem to have a program, hasn't had a program hardly at all since WrestleMania, except for, 6 matches against Nia Jax. But our champion, Tiffany Stratton, came to the ring and basically was looking for a challenger for SummerSlam, which brought out the Queen of the Ring winner, Jade Cargill. And I know you've got a lot to say about this, so I'll let you talk about that in a moment. But then it obviously, which was a bit interesting, did bring out a Trish Stratus, which was pretty cool to see. And it looks like we're going to be getting Trish versus Tiffany for the title. And I think this is something that they wanted to do for a while. I was kind of reading some reports that Trish really wanted to do a match against Tiffany. So that'll be a fun match for Evolution. But then obviously we had some stuff with Jade Cargill that you mentioned to me before the show that you wanted to get off your chest. So go right ahead.
Well, first off, I think that Tiffany and Trish, I mean, yeah, obviously they want to bring legends back, especially like I said, the fact that there's only 3 matches booked for Evolution and we're a week out is insane to
Four.
me.
There's four.
Four?
There's four.
What's the fourth?
So you've got this one, you've got Io and Rhea, you've got the tag team belt, and then you've got Becky Bailey and Lyra.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, I saw it was hot on Instagram this morning.
Okay, then it's not quite as bad as I thought. Because I was going to say 3 matches a week out is a lot of storytelling you need to do in 2 shows. And I'm wrong.
Actually, I think there's
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 another
a
match. There's the NXT
there's a
title match. You're right.
yeah, and there's a battle royal too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think that's like 6 matches then.
Okay. Then I'm a little bit more. I have a little bit more faith in this show. That's going to save women's wrestling. I mean, as long as Stephanie McMahon comes out and introduces it all, since she did invent women.
I was gonna
But
say she invented women. So
the, however, this segment, I'm okay with the fact that you have Trish and Tiffany because they have history from when they tagged.
yep.
I'm honestly kind of surprised that this didn't bring out the bane of all our existence in Nia Jax in this segment. But there's history. I mean, Trish is a legend. We know she can still go relatively well in the ring. We've seen her do it. I mean, she's a little bit on the slower side, but she still looks fantastic. She still sounds great. My problem here is the elephant in the room of Jade Cargill. And I don't mean that as like an insult of like weight or anything. Just she I think the Jade Cargill experiment needs to be over. And I hate to give Tony Khan, of all people, credit, but part of me thinks that he saw the writing on the wall when he let her walk from AEW. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
she was in AEW. She had her Goldberg-esque run. But looking back at that, it makes me question whether or not that Goldberg-esque run was for the same reason that Bill's was, and she's just not that talented. I mean, all her matches were over quick. She, as evidenced by this Friday night, she can't cut a promo to save her life. I mean, she has the look, and she doesn't have the mat skills though, and she doesn't have the promo skills. Like that, she got attacked afterwards backstage, and right before that, she was talking to Trish and literally saying things to Trish that were just talked about in the ring. Like it made zero sense whatsoever. And it's like, and then Naomi attacks her, and all this is like, oh well, we need you take care of. And she like in her Superman voice is like, "Give me Naomi," and it's like, who cares? I mean,
But I'm just reading now. That's actually that it is official for Evolution as well. That one as well. So it's actually a 7th match at
oh joy.
Evolution.
So we get to see another squash of Jade on Naomi, where Jade will somehow fuck up the pin. Oh, sorry, language. Where Jade will mess up the pin. Like
So who won at WrestleMania again? Was it Jade?
Jade.
So do you think that Naomi loses again?
As much as I hate to say it, probably.
No, actually, no. You know what? I Let me fantasy book this for a second because you know who's not on the card right now? Bianca. This is where Bianca comes back during this. Bianca's one of their biggest stars, right? And she's
Yeah.
not presently booked for this card. Bianca is 1000% coming back in this match. The question is, who is Bianca going to help here?
I mean, do we get a heel turn from Bianca?
I don't know. I think that's the right thing to do with her character. But I have been saying for a while that Bianca, Jade, and Naomi at SummerSlam makes a world of sense,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, I get that Jade won the Queen of the Ring and she's technically going to get that match, but I'm just wondering if Tiffany is even going to be the champion by SummerSlam
I mean, where could she
because
lose it?
she loses it here. She gets cashed in on here.
I don't know. I mean, I still think my fantasy booking of Naomi cashing in on Jade makes the most sense.
Maybe, but then how do you get that match between the three of them? Which I kind of feel like
Does it
is the
have to be a
direction
title run?
it's the direction that they're going though. You know what I mean? Like
'Cause
you're gonna have Bianca not wrestling at SummerSlam?
you have that big. Maybe you get Bianca versus Naomi. You get Bianca versus Naomi. You get Jade versus Tiffany. Bianca beats Naomi, which like ties back to like how at Mania when Seth had the briefcase and Orton
Yeah,
beat him, and then he cashed in later in the night. Bianca beats
yeah.
Naomi. Jade wins the title. Naomi cashes in. Then we go to uh, Paris. We get Bianca, Jade, and Naomi in Paris. And Naomi wins because Bianca and Jade can't get it together, and she loses the title down the road to one of the two of them.
I could see it that way. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think they're going to put the strap on Jade, but I don't know. It just makes me feel bad for Tiffany, honestly, because her championship run has been super lackluster. Kind of reminded me of Bailey's run from last year, frankly,
Yeah,
which is, really kind of a disappointing championship run. At least, you know what? At least Tiffany beat Charlotte at WrestleMania. At least we have that.
and she's held the belt for a pretty significant amount of time.
When did she win it? She cashed in on Naya, right?
Yeah, in like December, wasn't it?
That sounds right. Um, And then next we had, in my opinion, probably the match of the night between our newest tag team of Andrade and Rey Fenix versus Fraxium. I mean, we can't say enough good things about Fraxium. Like they're absolutely fantastic. Those two guys are incredible. But I'm really glad they're finally doing something with Andrade, and I think pairing him with Rey Fenix is also good because Rey Fenix has been losing a lot, and I'm kind of glad to see him pick up a win here.
So I do have a little bit of a problem with this match in that it WWE kind of booked themselves into a lose-lose situation here. Because you have Andrade and Phoenix who are on a winning streak as this brand new charismatic tag team, and which is great because, like you said, Ray was losing and he needs to get back get back in the win column. And Andrade really, for a while there, kind of felt like he was just floating around, not doing anything.
Mhm.
Um, and I think pairing the two of them with their two, yes, both of them are luchadors, but both of them have two different styles of luchadoring. I don't know if that's an actual verb, but uh, my problem with where they booked themselves into a corner is you have the two of them on a winning streak, then you
Mhm.
have Fraxium on a winning streak. Which team do you have? You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like you neither team really should have taken a loss. Like this is a match that I hate to say it, would have had the Wyatts interfering with. That way, neither team takes a loss.
I see your point. I think that, yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. They do the interference angle so much, and like sometimes teams just need to lose. I mean, obviously, just don't book the match then if you don't want one of these teams to lose. Like have these guys beat, I don't know, pretty deadly or something like that. Have them beat a team that you can have like that can lose, like if you really want to keep that thing going. But I think having these two teams out there and having them just put on an awesome match, I think is fine, and I don't think it really hurts anybody.
I mean, the match itself was absolutely incredible.
Oh
Like
yeah, best match
all
on the card.
all four of these men are just the things that they can do in the ring, and I I liked I think it was Wade that said made the comment that Nathan Frazier was Europe's answer to luchadors.
Yeah. So then we had Damian Priest and Aleister Black get into a heated argument backstage, which obviously led to a confirmation that Black and Ron Killings would have a face-off next week. Um, Obviously, I think we're going to get Priest versus Black probably at SummerSlam, but what are we doing with Aleister Black and R-Truth Ron Killings? Like, what is the point of this here? Because like, are we just gonna have this new Ron Killings just lose, but we're also gonna just not have Aleister Black lose, right? Like what are we doing with this?
I think Priest gets involved somehow, and it causes either a DQ or a no contest of some sort. Um, I mean, there's been talk that the powers that be backstage are real high on Aleister Black and are talking about giving him like a Damian Priest style main event push. So I feel like him going through Priest is probably the setup to that. You know what I mean? Especially right now because your main event stuff is currently tied up in plenty of other stories. So how do you put Aleister Black into that main event? You can't at the moment. So you need to slowly work him into it. And I think a match between him and Priest will be real good. It'll be hard
Yeah, I
hitting.
agree.
Both
I
of
agree.
them are like I mean with Aleister Black's martial arts background and Damian Priest's from the streets background, I think it'll be a barn burner. Like, and I know we like to crap on Priest sometimes, but the guy can go in the ring. I mean, they made him a world champion for what 8 months for a reason.
Yeah. And I enjoyed his title reign. I thought he did a great job when he held the strap. And I still think that Truth is going to be involved in the SummerSlam main event somehow in getting that belt off of Cena, or like just in Cena's overall face turn. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's the direction that Truth Ron Killings has to go at some point. So that makes a lot of sense to me that that's going to happen.
My my problem with Ron Killings though is what's the end game? Like you brought him back, and at what point does he just turn back into the comedy character that he was? Because I mean, like you said, where are they going with him?
I mean, I think eventually he's going to retire, right? Like I got to imagine in another year or two, he's gonna be at like a mostly he'll just kind of like fade off the show. I think is like honestly where it will probably go. And then like he's 47 now, right? So like I would say in the next couple of years, he's probably just gonna hang it up, and like that will probably be that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. So then this led to our main event of Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso versus Solo and I can't even say it versus Solo and Jeff Cobb, and yeah, and they won via clean via pinfall. Excellent match. Jacob Fatu was awesome, but I think the story of this match was obviously kind of the post match angle where we got another renaming. Thanks WWE. Now he's called Tala Tonga, formerly Hikaleo. I just can't. I can't with these
It,
goddamn.
it's at
I
least better
can't
than
with
JC
these renames. I just can't. But that was obviously the post match beatdown was kind of the story of this match. But I'll let you kind of break down the match and then talk about the post match angle, and we can get into where we're going from here.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about this was the fact that Big Jim and Jacob won clean. I mean, the two of them had good chemistry working together. Jacob is just all breaks no gas, and it's just incredible the things that a man of his size can do.
Mhm.
Um, I just I don't know what they're doing with like I get Solo, and I mean I kind of hope that he doesn't call it the Bloodline anymore with everything that's going on,
Yeah.
and I think that it's going to obviously build to a faction of some sort with Jacob being backed up by the Usos and potentially some other folks to have to take on the Solo and the Firm. Um, when it comes to the renaming, I mean it's not as bad as the JC Mateo rename, so at least I can give that a little bit of leeway. Um, but I don't know. I think that SummerSlam we get Solo versus Jacob again. Um, I hate to say it, but I think Solo retains, and I think that this goes on for till probably Survivor Series.
Is this going to be your War Games match?
Right now, probably. I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't really see unless they do like the Wyatts. And
or or Seth Rollins group versus that
yeah,
hodgepodge of CM Punk, LA Knight, and all the baby faces.
as of right now, I think those are your three potential options.
Yeah, yeah, I don't love it. Yeah, but that was SmackDown overall. So, what's your overall rating for the show, and where do you think we go from here?
So obviously, this was a pre-taped episode because of the fourth. Um, I know I did a pretty good job of avoiding most of the spoilers, other than the Drew McIntyre thing. But I mean, holiday shows never really are anything super spectacular. So I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5, about average. Advanced storylines had that real good. I mean, that Fraxium Andrade Phoenix match was 5 stars. I'll
Mhm.
steal that from Meltzer's book, but I think other than that, the event was just average. I do have something non-directly wrestling related I want to make a point on too here. If you haven't watched it yet, check out John Cena's new movie on Amazon. Was a pretty fun watch.
Yeah, I think I agree. Two out of five. And I mean, they got a lot of work to do to just like get all of these matches together for all of these shows that are coming up. And I think that was really sort of the purpose of this, right? Because you've got like what, four matches set up out of this show for your pay-per-views that are coming up next weekend. So I think it kind of makes sense, right? And I think McIntyre and Orton is going to be a good match. We've seen that before, but it'll be a great match. Trish and Tiffany will be fine. I don't really care about Naomi and Jade. And like we said, Alexa and Charlotte will eventually win those titles. So I'm fine with it. It was a fine show. And the main event scene on for the main title, Cena's title, is really kind of the only thing that's really interesting on SmackDown right now, unfortunately, because of the nonsense that's going on in the men's tag team division there. But yeah, just kind of have to keep trucking until we actually get into the real SummerSlam build, right? Which will hopefully happen after this next weekend when these two shows are over after next weekend. So
I mean,
that was that. Yeah.
I mean, they have to set up Bill Goldberg's challenger for SummerSlam. So
God. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll have Saturday night's main event and Evolution next weekend. We will have our picks for you guys for both of those shows, our official picks. This guy's got to stay in first place with his 22 points. And we'll do both. We'll probably do both shows for you, either coming out this Thursday or this Friday. And we'll have our Raw review. And the NFL is coming up quick. We're going to have a ton of football content for you guys as well. So thank you so much for joining us as we've continued to do this podcast. We've been enjoying it. We've been enjoying it a lot, and we want to hear from you guys. So if there's anything you guys see that you like or you don't like, let us know. And as always, smash that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. And with that, have yourselves a great evening and take care.